Hello, mighty companions. Hello, mighty companions. This is Earl Purdy, and I want to welcome you to Hardcore Course in Miracles. Are you ready for some miracles? Are you ready for some big changes? We're going to talk about how you can realize that the universe, God, is giving you everything. Are you ready for everything? Are you ready to have what you really deserve? Well, welcome to Hardcore Course in Miracles with Earl Purdy here on Facebook Live. And we're going to start out with our theme from John Christmas at johnChristmas.com. We are one.
There's a call for a God, I see it everywhere. Everybody's running scared, and everything is turning upside down. But the words I hear, they keep coming through from deep inside of me and you. It's telling us that love is who I am. You and me were not that far apart. Yeah, we're beating the same heart. We've been together from the start. Tell me, can you hear it? Tell me, can you feel it? Put your arms around it and know that we are one. Yeah, yeah, we are one. Now let's come together and understand that love was born inside of everyone. He's waiting for us to choose love as ourselves. When you choose him, you know you choose me too. And everyone becomes a part of you. And then you will know that love is who I am. You and me were not that far apart. Yeah, we're beating the same heart. We've been together from the start. Tell me, can you hear it? Tell me, can you feel it? Put your arms around it and know that we are one. Yeah, yeah, we are one. Oh, we are one.
I want to welcome you to Hardcore Course in Miracles here on Facebook Live. This is Earl Purdy, and we're going to go deep into how you can allow yourself to be given everything. How is it that you can allow yourself to be given the love, given everything? So we're going to go deep into a course in miracles, which is a course in the expression of love, right-mindedness. And we are going to find out how we can remove all the blocks to the awareness of the presence of God, the presence of our higher power. We want that in our lives.
You and me were not that far apart. Yeah, we're beating the same heart. We've been together from the start. Tell me, can you hear it? Tell me, can you feel it? Put your arms around it and know that we are one.
Hey, I'm Earl Purdy. I want to welcome you to Hardcore Course in Miracles, and we are going to get down on how we can allow ourselves to get rid of all the blocks to having all the joy and peace that we keep hearing about, and all these different spiritual teachings and books and workshops and seminars that we go through. I am especially here to be of support to Course in Miracles students. Do you know that I've been studying and learning and teaching the Course in Miracles for over 41 years? Because it has helped me out and so many thousands of people that I've worked with for so long. And it's time for you to have the peace that you want to have right now, the peace that you deserve right now. So in order to hear A Course in Miracles, and I'm just interested in you being able to hear what it's saying. I'm the divine repetition teacher. I'm your remembering coach. What brings about the miracles that the Course in Miracles describes is, number one, remembering what it's saying. You have to hear it and remember what it's saying before you can apply it. So my focus is on the application of the ideas. I've been doing the Course in Miracles long enough to know that analyzing the Course in Miracles is not the way to get the Course in Miracles to be actualized in your life. So you can sit around and you can analyze it, but that's not going to bring you the gifts that the Course in Miracles promises. It's hearing what it says and having a little bit of willingness and being willing to move in the direction of love. Do you know the Course in Miracles is only talking about two things, love and fear, oneness and separateness. So what it's about is removing the blocks that you have to the awareness of love's presence and truth's presence and freedom in your life. Now, it gives some guidelines, and these guidelines are from A Course in Miracles. It says you need to remember only this if you want to have the right attitude to hear A Course in Miracles. Remember only this. You need not believe the ideas. You need not believe the ideas. You need not accept the ideas. You need not even welcome the ideas. Some of the ideas, you may actively resist some of the ideas. So let's just get that clear right from the very beginning. You might resist some of the things that you hear from A Course in Miracles. You might find some of the ideas in the Course in Miracles hard to believe. I might say some things that are hard to believe and may trigger some of your past programming and conditioning. Some of the ideas from A Course in Miracles may seem startling. You are not asked to judge the ideas. It's not about judging and analyzing the ideas. If you use the ideas, you will see that the ideas are true. And you'll also find that the ideas will have meaning to you when you use the ideas. So we're going to be on page, in the Course in Miracles text, the Foundation for Inner Peace version, we're going to be on page 62 in the text, page 62, and we're going to start with paragraph 8. Paragraph 8 on page 62. We're in chapter 4, we're in section 3, and we're going to be on paragraph 8. Now, I share the Course in Miracles in a question and answer format because questions hook the mind. They get us to really stop for a minute and hear. So what is it that the Course in Miracles starts out in paragraph 8? What does it start out with? What is it asking us to do? The Course in Miracles is asking us to watch carefully. So the first thing it says is, I want you to watch carefully. I want you to see what it is you're really asking for. I want you to ask yourself, what am I really asking for? What do I really want? What are you really asking for? I'm not talking about what it is you don't want. I'm asking you, what is it that you're really asking for? It's so good to be with you, mighty companions. It's a blessing to be with you, mighty companion. I'm glad that we have each other in this insane world, dream world, as the Course in Miracles calls it. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. And you're here to learn how to remove the blocks to the presence of love and joy, and to be here as a mind that remembers the truth in a world where most people have forgotten what the truth really is, that love is the only thing that's real and the only thing that matters. So the Course in Miracles is always talking about love and fear. So what is it asking us to do? It's saying you need to be very honest with yourself. It's time for you to be very honest with yourself in this, because we must hide nothing from each other. So why do you need to be very honest? Because you need to recognize that we must hide nothing from each other. We must hide nothing from each other. If you will really try to do what? If you really try to be very honest with yourself, if you will really try to be very honest with yourself, what's going to happen? Well, if you try to be really honest with yourself, you've taken the first step. And what's the first step? You've taken the first step to preparing your mind for love to enter your mind, for God, for spirit to enter your mind. So if you want love to enter your mind, if you want truth to enter your mind, if you want spirit to enter your mind, you have to be very honest with yourself. That's the first thing. And be honest about what? It says, be honest about what you're really asking for. Be honest with yourself about what you really want. Do you just want power, money, fame, and physical pleasure? Or do you really want to know your true identity? Do you really want a peace that will never end? Do you really want to know who and what you really are? Do you really want to know your power? Do you really want to know your oneness? Do you really want to be here for something that's evolutionary for your soul? Or is it just about power, fame, and money and physical pleasure? Now, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, because the Course in Miracles doesn't condemn anything that we think we want. But you need to prepare your mind for the Holy One to enter, the Spirit, the truth in you to enter. And so how do we prepare for love to enter? How do we prepare for God to enter, which is the same thing? But the Course says we will prepare for this together. We've got to prepare together. You're on a path that is not a path that you do alone. As a matter of fact, the Course in Miracles says you cannot do it alone. You cannot reach enlightenment and permanent, unlimited happiness alone, by yourself. So we will prepare for this. We're going to prepare together, because once the Holy One, the once that love, the once that spirit has come, you will be ready to help me. Who is me? Me is Jesus of the Course in Miracles. It says you will be ready to help me make other minds ready for the Holy One. The Holy One. The Holy One is Spirit, God, truth. How long will you deny your Creator, your Creator's kingdom? How long will you deny your Creator, your Creator's kingdom? Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me, listen to me. If you are struggling, if you are afraid and worried, if you're trying to figure out how to make it, you are not in touch with your inner guide. If you were in touch with your inner guide, if you were really in touch with God, if you were really in touch with your higher power, then you would not be worried. You would not have concerns. You would not have anxieties. You would not have frustration. So there's no such thing as you really being in touch with the spirit in you, the truth in you, and you being afraid and worried all the time and trying to figure things out. So you need, according to the Course, you need to resign as your own teacher. You need to stop trying to teach yourself and let yourself teach you. Did you hear what I said? You need to stop trying to teach yourself, and you need to let your higher self teach you, especially if you're upset and you're worried and you don't have relationships that are fulfilling and your life is not full of a deep, abiding peace. Then you need to accept the fact that your perception is not correct. You need to open yourself up to higher guidance. I'm just being honest with you. How long will you deny God, God's kingdom? How long will you deny your reality? So in your own mind, even though you have denied it, it's the declaration of your release. So what is the declaration of your release? What is the declaration of your release? It's God has given you everything. 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 Say it to yourself. God has given me everything. God has given me everything. Say it to yourself. God has given me everything. And do you know that God is love? God is spirit. God is the creator. The creator. You didn't create yourself. You did not create yourself. You did not create yourself. You didn't create yourself. You did not create yourself. Do you know that you did not create yourself? You did not create yourself. You did not create yourself. You did not create yourself. God has given you everything. Do you hear me now? God has given you everything. Now, this one fact that love has given you everything, the fact that love has given you everything means that the ego doesn't exist. What is the ego? The ego is the part of you that believes that you are alone, separate, on your own. That is the ego. The ego is any fear that you have. The ego is your conditioning. It's the programming that you've gotten from the world. The ego is the part of you that thinks you are just a human being that's out here on your own, that lives a certain number of years and then dies. So the ego is the part of you that has a social security number. The part of you that thinks you are separate. The part of your mind that believes you are separate or guilty or full of grievances or fear or lack. The negative thoughts in your mind, the fearful thoughts in your mind come from your ego, your belief that you're separate. So the fact that you have everything means that the part of you that believes it can experience lack, that part of you really doesn't exist. And so when I tell you that your ego doesn't exist, that this separate you that you think is you, that's separate from me and separate from everybody else, that you doesn't exist. So that part of your mind that believes that you are separate, it becomes profoundly afraid. So when does your ego become afraid? Your ego becomes afraid whenever you are reminded that you have everything. Love has given you everything. And another name for God is love. In case you have a tough time with the word God, which at some point I hope you'll get off it, then they understand that there's only love and there's only fear. That's the only thing going on in your mind. That's the only thing that's going on in your perception. Do you know that everything that you look at, you're the one that's giving it all the meaning that it has? And you're either giving it a peaceful meaning or you're giving it a meaning that causes you fear and conflict. So in the ego's language, in the wrong mind's language, in the wrong-minded language, the Course in Miracles says to have and to be are different. So when a person believes that they're separate, when a person does not know their true spiritual identity, they think to have something and to be something is two different things. But having and being is identical to the Holy Spirit, to the voice for God, to your higher power. Having something and being it is the same thing. If you want to have peace, you must be peaceful. If you want to have freedom, you must be free. If you want to have happiness, you must be happy. You see what I'm saying? To spirit, having something and being it is the same thing. So if you want to have more, do you want to have more loving people in your life? Well, if you want to have more loving people in your life, you got to be a more loving person. If you want to have friendly people in your life, you must be a friendly person. If you want to have compassion, you must be compassionate. Having and being, it's the same thing. As soon as I want to manifest something in my life, I try to be whatever it is I want to have. And I want to have loving, open, friendly, safe beings in my life. So my goal is to be an open, loving, safe being. To spirit, having something and being something are identical. So the Holy Spirit, your teacher, your divine teacher, your inner guide, the Holy Spirit knows what? The Holy Spirit knows that you both have everything and you are everything. So I'm going to remind you that you have everything and you are everything. Do you necessarily realize that you have everything and you are everything? No, you might not realize you have everything and you are everything. You might not necessarily realize that you have love and that you are love, but that doesn't mean it's not true. One of the most important things that I'd like to say to you as a Course in Miracles teacher is that something can be true even if you don't believe it. Something can be true even if you don't agree that it's true. So you could have everything and you could be everything. You could have love and you could be love. You could be a wonderful being and not think you're a wonderful being. You could be totally loved and not think you are totally loved. So again, just because you don't believe something doesn't mean that it's not true. Just because you don't identify with something doesn't mean that it's not true. So any distinction in this respect about having something and being something, it's meaningful only when the idea of getting, which implies lack. So don't you know that if you feel like you've got to get something, then that obviously means you think you must lack whatever it is that you think you must get. So getting and the idea of lacking, they are totally related. It's only when the idea of getting, which implies a lack, has already been accepted that people get confused about having something and being it. That's why we make no distinction. In this Course in Miracles gathering, we don't make any distinction between having the kingdom of God and being the kingdom of God. We're not going to make any distinction between having love and being love. Don't let the Christian terminology of A Course in Miracles cause you to miss the gifts that it has to offer. It's only talking about the loving part of us and the fearful part of us. Because it's the loving part of you that's going to take care of you. It's the loving part of you that's going to feed what you think you are, house what you think you are, give you the healing and the life and the joy that you really want. That's going to come from the loving self within you. That protection and that security that you're looking for, it will never come from the part of your mind that believes you're guilty or lacking or alone or afraid. So there's a calm being. Do you know that the calm being of God's kingdom? Do you know that the calm being of love, which in your sane mind is perfectly conscious? Do you know that perfectly conscious part of you is ruthlessly banished from the part of your mind that fear rules? So love is banished from the part of your mind that fear rules. Listen to me now. Listen to what? Guilt. Your innocence is banished from the part of your mind that thoughts of guilt rule. Do you also know that your abundance, the part of your mind that believes in your abundance, is ruthlessly banished from the part of your mind that lack thinking rules? So there's a part of your mind, that fearful part, that frightened part, that part that gets angry, that part that gets upset. The ego is desperate. Do you know that your ego is desperate? Do you know the part of the mind that doesn't know the truth? That part of you is desperate because the part of you that opposes your joy, the part of you that opposes your blessings, the part of you that would try to sabotage your good, do you know that that part of you is opposing literally invincible odds, whether you are asleep or whether you are awake? Your fear will not last. Your fear will not last. That pain will not last. That upset will not last. It's opposing literally invincible odds. Do you know that God will always win? The higher power will always succeed. So guess what? Guess what? Guess what? No matter how much it seems like there may be fear and worry and lack in your life, the part of you that loves you is going to win. The part of you that is divine is going to win. No matter what you're going through right now, no matter what's going on in the world right now, that divine part of you, your real self, that God self in you, it will always overcome your ego. Your ego cannot win. Your lack, your fear, your anger, your guilt cannot win. Your negative thinking, if it comes up in you, it cannot win. So what do I want you to consider? What do you need to consider? What is it that you need to consider? I'm going to tell you. I want you to consider how much vigilance you have been willing to exert to protect your ego. I want you to think about how much vigilance you've been willing to exert to protect your wrong way of thinking. What do I mean by wrong way of thinking? Let me tell you. Wrong thinking always produces fear and guilt. Wrong thinking always produces sickness and lack. Wrong thinking produces attack. So I want you to consider how much vigilance you've been willing to exert to protect your ego. Stop trying to protect your ego. Stop trying to protect ways of thinking that do not serve you. Stop trying to serve the world's way of looking at things. Consider how much vigilance you've been willing to exert to protect your ego. And consider how little vigilance that you've been willing to exert to protect your right mind. Do you know the Course in Miracles defines the Holy Spirit as your loving right mind? So what is the Holy Spirit? It is your right mind. What is a right mind? A right mind is a loving mind. A right mind is a harmless mind. A right mind is a joyful mind. A right mind is a free mind. Woo! Right, your right mind is a forgiving mind. So consider how much vigilance you've been willing to exert to protect your opinions and beliefs, even if they didn't bring you peace. And how little you've been willing to sometimes protect your right mind. So ask yourself, who but the insane, who but somebody as crazy as hell would undertake to believe what's not true and then protect their belief in what's not true at the cost of truth? So a person would have to be insane to continually believe that they're separate from God, that they're separate from love, and that they're separate from everything and everyone around them. From a Course in Miracles standpoint, an insane person is a person that thinks that they are alone. Because you'd have to be insane to think you are alone. And just at a human level, when you see people all around you in traffic, people all around you in every kind of situation and circumstance, and then go, I'm alone, I'm all alone. No, you're not. You're not alone. It's insane to think that you are alone. That's wanting to believe something that's not true and being willing to believe in what's not true at the cost of truth. The truth is that you are one with me and I'm one with you, and we're one with everything, and we are one with the universe. The truth is you are connected to everything and everyone. The truth is you are connected to everything and everyone, everything and everyone, everything and everyone. Guess what? This need not be. This need not be is one of my favorite sections in the Course in Miracles. And this need not be is where we're going to go to now. It's awesome. This need not be is on page 62 in the Course in Miracles text, the Foundation for Inner Peace version, chapter 4, section 4, paragraph 1. Now, I just want you to, for a minute, I want to ask you to do something for me. Just for this time that we're in hardcore Course in Miracles, just for a minute, try to suspend all the things that you're trying to bring into this from everything else that you've learned. just for an hour, okay? Just for an hour. I know you're brilliant, and I know you've done tons and tons of spiritual work maybe, and you're just really clear, and that's great. But if you want to hear what the Course in Miracles is saying, just for a minute, just let yourself hear what this paragraph says. It says, if you can't hear the voice for God, if you don't hear the voice of your guidance, there's only one reason why you can't hear the voice for God. There's only one reason why you can't hear the voice of Spirit. There's only one reason. It's because you do not choose to listen. Like right now, the Course in Miracles is giving us instruction. But if we don't hear it, it's just because we're not choosing to listen right now. Now, that you do listen to the voice of your ego, that you do listen to the voice of the world, that you do listen to the voice of your past experiences, it's demonstrated by three things. That you listen to the world and your ego, that's demonstrated by, number one, your attitude, number two, your feelings, and number three, your behavior. So your attitudes, your feelings, and your behavior, what do they witness to? Well, your attitude, your feelings, and your behavior witness to the voice that you are listening to advise you. There is a voice that you listen to. There aren't but two voices, and you're listening to one of two voices. You're either listening to the voice you made up, you're either listening to what you're telling yourself all day, or you're listening to what the truth in you, your higher power, your guide is telling you all day. That's it. Yet listening to your ego, sometimes listening to your past learning, which is the ego. The Course in Miracles says, yet this is what you want. You want to hang on to, there's a part of you that wants to hang on to your attitudes and beliefs that don't really work. And that's what a part of you is fighting to keep, your old programming and your old beliefs, even if it's not bringing you peace. The Course says, you guys don't know it, but your mind is filled with schemes to save the face of your ego. There's a part of you that has one goal, to save the face of what you think about things and what you believe is true. And he says, but you don't seek the face of Christ. What is Christ? From a Course in Miracles perspective, it says Christ is your true self, your loving self, your real self. Yeah, the Course in Miracles has an audacity to say that you are not who you think you are, and you are not what you think you are. You have, according to the Course, you have forgetfulness. You are in a state of amnesia, and you've forgotten who you truly are. You've forgotten that you are an eternal being that never dies. You've forgotten that you are not a physical body. That's not what you really are. You're not a physical body. You've forgotten that, according to the Course in Miracles. You've forgotten that you are totally innocent and that you are totally supported and that you are totally loved and guided at all times. And do you know the Course says when you are afraid, when you are concerned, when you are worried, you've forgotten that. And so the Course in Miracles says the glass in which your ego seeks to find his face is dark. So how can the part of you that thinks it's separate, how can it maintain the trick of its existence? Except with mirrors, reflections. But do you know that where you look to find yourself, where you look for yourself is up to you. Where you look for yourself is up to you. Where you look for yourself is up to you. Where you look for yourself, where you look to find yourself is up to you. Where you look to find yourself, where you look to find who you really are, that's up to you. I've said that you can't change your mind by changing your behavior. Do you know that you cannot change your mind by changing your behavior? You can't change your mind by changing your behavior. But I've also said, Jesus of the Course has also said many times that you can change your mind. Now, you can't change your mind by changing your behavior. You can't change your mind by changing your behavior, but you can change your mind. You can change your mind. You can't change your mind by changing your behavior, but you can change your mind. So how How will you know when you've made the wrong choice? How can you tell when you've chosen wrongly? Listen to me. According to the Course in Miracles, how can you tell when you've chosen incorrectly? Your mood. When your mood tells you you have chosen wrongly, how can you tell when you've chosen wrongly? Whenever you're not joyous, whenever you're not happy, whenever you're not at peace, whenever you're not feeling secure. That's how you can tell you, I repeat, you have chosen wrongly. Your mood will tell you that you've chosen wrongly. And that's whenever you're in a bad mood. Whenever you're in a mood that is full of fear or anger or guilt. But then what is it that you need to know? You need to know this need not be. You don't have to be unhappy. Your life doesn't have to be unhappy. Your life doesn't have to be unhappy. You don't have to be experiencing lack. You don't have to experience sickness. You don't have to experience loneliness. You don't have to experience attack. You don't have to experience lack. This need not be. So that's test number one. How can you tell when you've chosen wrongly? You're not joyous. Don't make this complicated because it's not complicated. If you're in a bad mood, if you feel afraid, if you're trying to get, then you have chosen wrongly. So that means in every case, what has happened when you are not joyous? Well, when you're not joyous, the Course says, in every case, you have thought wrongly about what? Some brother God created. There's somebody you're thinking incorrectly about. There's something, and that could be seeing yourself incorrectly, as well as seeing another person incorrectly. The Course in Miracles says in every case that you're not happy, you're not seeing something correctly. It means you're seeing images that your fear has made. You're seeing images that your guilt has made. That's when you're not happy. You're seeing images that your past programming, your conditioning has made. He says you are seeing images your ego makes in a darkened glass. So when you're in a bad mood, when you're not happy, when you're upset, I'm going to tell you what you should do. So don't think the Course in Miracles isn't telling you what to do. This is what you do. When you're not in a good mood and you're feeling sad and you're feeling unhappy and you're upset with somebody, the first thing that you must do is you must think honestly. And I'm going to say this over and over again until you hear it. When you're not happy, these are the steps. This is what you do. Are you ready? When you're not happy, think honestly what you have thought. Think honestly about what you're thinking that love wouldn't think. Think about what you're thinking that God wouldn't think. What are you thinking that the truth would not think? What are you thinking that the Course in Miracles, if that's your path, what are you thinking that the Course in Miracles would not think? So you think, I'm upset, so what do? I honestly think about what I'm thinking that God or love or truth wouldn't think. And then you think about what you haven't thought that the truth would have you think. So what is it that I'm thinking that God wouldn't think? And what is it that I'm not thinking that God would think? What am I thinking that a loving man wouldn't think? What am I not thinking that love would think? What would a correct man think? What would a loving man think that I'm not thinking? And what is it that I have not thought that a loving man would think? What else would you do? You would search sincerely next for what you haven't done. So what is it that you haven't done? What is it that you haven't done? And what is it that you've left undone? Okay, so I'm not in a good mood. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling upset. That lets me know that I thought wrongly. I've chosen wrongly, which means I'm looking at things through my ego. I'm looking at things through my fear. So then I honestly would think, okay, what is it that What is it that I'm thinking that God wouldn't think? What is it that I'm thinking that God wouldn't think? Am I thinking that things don't go right for me? Am I thinking that people don't love me? Am I thinking that my life is a bunch of crap in some way? Am I afraid about something? Am I feeling guilty about something? Then I am thinking something that God wouldn't think. I'm thinking something that love wouldn't think. Are you thinking something that love wouldn't think? Are you thinking something that love wouldn't think? Are you thinking something that God would not think? Then what do? What is it that you haven't thought that the Course in Miracles is trying to teach you to think? What is it that you haven't thought that love is trying to teach you to think? What is it that you haven't thought that truth would want you to think? Then the next thing you do, what do? You search. How do you search? Search sincerely. Search sincerely. Sincerely for what? Search sincerely for what you have done, and search sincerely for what you've left undone. What is it that you should be doing that you're not doing? And what is it that you have left undone that you know you need to be doing? Search sincerely for what you have done and what you have left undone. Then, what do you do next? You change your mind. You change your mind to think. How? Change your mind to think with God. Thank you. What? Change your mind to think with God. Change your mind. Change your mind to think with the truth. Change your mind to think with the Course. But how can you change your mind to think with the Course in Miracles if you don't even know what the Course in Miracles says? Because you won't know what the Course in Miracles says if you don't study a Course in Miracles. So, whatever your spiritual path, even if it's not a Course in Miracles, you would still do the same thing. You would do the same thing. You would change your mind to think with your spiritual path. You would change your mind to think like your spiritual path tells you to think. Change your mind to think with God's mind. Change your mind to think with love. Now, I know this may seem hard to do. I know this may seem hard to do. I know this may seem hard to do, hard to do, hard to do. I know this may seem hard to do, what I just told you, but guess what? Sometimes I know it looks like it's hard to think with God. Sometimes I know it seems hard to think with forgiveness. But guess what? It is much easier than trying to think against God. It's harder to think against truth. It's harder to think against love. It's harder to think against God. It is harder to think against joy. So your mind is one with God's. Your mind is one with God's. Your mind is one with love's. Your mind is one with love's. Do you know that denying your mind is one with God? And thinking otherwise, other than with God and truth and love, that's what's held your fear together. What is holding your anxiety together? What is holding your depression together? What is holding your anxiety and fear together? Denying that your mind is one with God. Denying that your mind is one with love. Denying that your mind is one with truth. That is holding your fear and anxiety wherever you feel it together. And it has literally split your mind. What? Denying that you are one with your Creator. Denying that you are joined and connected to all that is. That has split your mind between the part of your mind that knows oneness and the part of your mind that believes in separateness. So what am I deeply concerned with as your loving brother? As your loving brother, what am I deeply concerned with? Jesus of the Course says, as a loving brother, I am deeply concerned with your mind, with your mind. As a loving equal, brother means equal. As a loving equal, I am deeply concerned with your mind. And urge you. What am I urging you? I'm urging you to follow my example as you look at yourself and as you look at others. Jesus was an example of true love and what real love is. And so Jesus says, follow my example as you look at yourself and at your brother. And so if I'm going to follow the example of Jesus, what does that mean? I need to see in myself and I need to see in you two things. I need to see in you and I need to see in myself the glorious creations of a glorious creator. You are a glorious creation of a glorious Father. You're a glorious creation of a glorious creator. You are a glorious creation. Glorious creation. You are a glorious creation. You are a glorious creation of a glorious creator. The creator is love. God is love. God is love. You are a glorious creation of a glorious creator. You are a glorious creation of a glorious creator. And if you don't want to hear that, if you don't want to believe that, then you're watching the wrong teacher. You just need to tune out. Because I am not going to be talking about you are sinful and you're guilty and you're going to hell. I don't believe in any of that. The Course in Miracles doesn't teach any of that is true. And those of you who are out there who know in your gut that your creator is unconditional love, then you keep on sticking to that idea. Because God is love, unconditional love. And if you need correction, if you're doing something that's not loving, then you can be lovingly corrected. So you're being urged to follow the example of the Creator as you look at yourself and as you look at other people. And what are you being asked to do? You're being asked to see in both of you the glorious creations of a glorious Creator. Now I'm going to do a review of what I've covered because I've given from the Course in Miracles a very clear message. So we were told exactly what to do if we are unhappy. And so I'm going to share that with you. I'm Earl Purdy. I'm a full-time teacher. This is what I do in the world. So please make a financial expression of appreciation. If you'd like to make a financial expression of appreciation, you can go to my website, earlpurdy.com. Earl Purdy, Purdy.com. You can also use Zelle, Venmo, the Cash App, or PayPal. And all you need is my email address. My email address is earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. Forgive me, I got something in my throat. And I also do one-on-one tutoring, one-on-one counseling, one-on-one showing you how to take these principles and apply them in your everyday life to heal and correct situations that you're going through right now. There's another way to look at whatever you're going through right now. And I call what I offer people clarity sessions. Clarity sessions. Go to my website, earlpurdy.com, and you can read in detail about my clarity sessions, and you can self-book an appointment with me right online at my website. Sign up for my contact list. For those who are also open and receptive to it, I'm also an astrologer and a numerologist. For those who are also open to having an interpretation of their chart done, I'm available in the way that's most meaningful to you. Sundays at 1 p.m. Mountain Time on Facebook, on the Earl Purdy page on Facebook. At 1 p.m. I do another Facebook Live on A Course in Miracles, and I also do it in front of a live audience here in Denver, Colorado at 1555 Race Street in Denver, Colorado. Please share these videos. Then on Thursdays on Facebook Live, on the Earl Purdy page, I do hardcore Course in Miracles. And this is Course in Miracles that is aimed at people who are open to the Course in Miracles and who are studying it and who see value in it coming through me, and they want to go deeper. So I'm available. All right, so let's get ready to do the review. I think that covered everything. Also, you can watch hundreds and hundreds of my videos on YouTube, as well as on my website, as well as here on Facebook. So I make whatever I do absolutely available to everyone can access what I teach, and they can access what I teach in a way that is absolutely will fit them. Okay, so here we go. This is the review. Okay. If you can't hear the voice for God, if you can't hear the voice of your higher self, it's because you don't choose to listen. If you don't hear the voice for God, it's because you're not willing to listen to it. If you're not hearing the voice for truth, it's because you're not willing to listen to it. If you don't hear another way of looking at things, it's just because you're not willing to listen to it. And that you do listen to your old programming, that's demonstrated by your attitudes, your feelings, and your behavior. So your mind is actually filled with schemes to save your old programming, your ego, your old way of looking at it. And where you look to find yourself is up to you. You can look out in the world to find yourself. You can look into the world to try to find yourself. You can look out into the world to try to find yourself. You can look to the past to try to find yourself. Or you can look to your spiritual path, your truth teaching. Where you look to find yourself is up to you. But you can't change your mind by changing your behavior. You can't change your mind by changing your behavior, but you can change your mind. You can change your mind. You can change your way of thinking. You can change your way of thinking, or you can continue to let your conditioning and your past learning, you can let the old ways you learned from the world still teach you how to look at things. But guess what? There's a way that you can tell when you have chosen wrongly. How can you tell when you're choosing incorrectly? Your mood will let you know when you've chosen incorrectly. Your mood will let you know when you've chosen incorrectly. And know that this doesn't have to be. 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 You don't have to be unhappy. You don't have to feel alone. You don't have to feel like you're on your own. You don't have to feel depressed. You don't have to feel grief. You don't have to be unhappy. But in every case, you either thinking incorrectly about yourself or you're thinking incorrectly about somebody else. You're looking at the images that your fear is showing you. So what do you do? What do you do? What do I do, Earl, when I'm in a mood, when I'm in a bad mood, when I'm feeling afraid, when I'm not happy? Think honestly. What do you mean think honestly? Think honestly about what you're thinking that the Course is teaching you, what you're thinking that the Course wouldn't have thought. Think honestly about what you're thinking that the truth that you're studying would not have thought. Think honestly about what you're thinking that a loving mind wouldn't think. I want you to think about what you're thinking that God would not have thought. And then think about what you have not thought. What is it that you're not thinking? You're not thinking that you're entitled to miracles. When you're unhappy, you're not thinking that you're really connected to your source. When you're not happy, you're not really thinking that everything is ultimately for your own best interest. There's some kind of truth that you're not thinking. And the Course in Miracles says, think honestly what you have thought that God wouldn't have you think, and what you haven't thought that God would have you think. Search sincerely for what you've done and what you've left undone accordingly. Think about it. Think about what you have not thought that God would have you think. And think honestly what you have thought that God wouldn't have thought, and what you have not thought that the truth What have you think? And then what else do you do? You sincerely search for what you haven't done and what you have done. Search for what you have done, and then search for what you have left undone. What do you do next? You change your mind. How do you change your mind? You change your mind to think with the truth. You change your mind, Course in Miracles student. You don't study the Course in Miracles not to apply the Course in Miracles. It's not some little game to play with, an intellectual game, Course in Miracles student. You want to change your mind to think with love. You want to change your mind to think with God. I know this may seem like it's hard to do, especially when you're really upset and afraid. But it's really much easier than trying to think against the truth. Thinking against the fact that you are lovable and loved, it's harder to think against that, because when you're thinking against your true self, that's when you feel depressed. But that's when you feel most afraid. Your mind is one with God. Your mind is one with God. Your mind is one with love. Your mind is one with God. Your mind is one with love. Your mind is one with God. And denying this and thinking otherwise has held your ego together, What has held the sorrow and the pain and the upset together is denying that you are one with your Creator, denying that you are connected to Source. Thinking that you are separate and thinking that you are one at the same time has literally split your mind. So what is it that you are being asked to do? You are being asked to look at yourself as a glorious creation. You are a glorious creation. You are a glorious creation. You are a glorious creation of a glorious Creator. And so am I, and so is everyone else. Now, does everyone else necessarily know that? Does everyone else necessarily know that they are glorious creation? Of course not. Or the world would be very different from the way that we are experiencing it right now. But we are here to do exactly what this Course in Miracles is teaching us, to follow the example of Jesus of the Course. As you look at yourself and as you look at others, go, I am a glorious creation of a glorious Creator. That's what I am. I am a glorious creation. 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 And so are you. You are a glorious creation. You are a glorious creation. You are a glorious creation. That is what you are. You are a glorious creation. You are a glorious creation. What else did the Course say? God has given you everything. God has given you everything. God has given you everything, everything, everything. Now, do you know that? If you don't know that, then you are to learn how to let go of the blocks to knowing that you have everything. That is your spiritual work. Your spiritual work is to practice what the Course in Miracles is teaching, to do the workbook lessons, to read the material from page 1 all the way throughout the text. The workbook is within the Course in Miracles. It's 3 books in 1. It's a text, it's a workbook, it's a manual for teachers. It's a text, a workbook, and a manual for teachers. In the first of the year, start, if you haven't done it, many of us start every January 1st with the workbook together. So it's time to get off your butt if you're on your butt and procrastinating and just analyzing and apply these principles, because guess what? God has given you everything. And You deserve to know that because you are a glorious creation of a glorious creator. You are a glorious creation of a glorious creator. Mighty companion, watch this, listen to this at least 4 times. Listen to this at least 4 times. Mighty companion, you are total blessings to me, and I see you as a glorious creation of a glorious creator. You are a glorious creation of a glorious creator. That's what you are. You are a glorious creation of a glorious creator. You're a glorious creation of a glorious creator. You are you are welcome. I love you. I appreciate you. And may the course be with you. I love you.